Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome, folks, to the Hungry Gamers back with another mini preview, and today we are talking about Tales from the Red Dragon Inn. And this is one that I have been waiting for forever, maybe? I don't know. I would literally have been waiting for this game since before it was even announced. I've been saying for years, oh my gosh, why can't I have a Red Dragon Inn dungeon crawl? Well, now we do. And I got to try it on Tabletop Simulator. And before I get any further in, I will just say I am an unabashed super fan of the Red Dragon Inn universe. I love their deck builder, Battle for Greyport. I think it's criminally underappreciated as far as Red Dragon Inn goes. I have all of it. I think it is a completely and delightfully fun, enjoyable, tongue-in-cheek, mean, nasty take that card game, and I love it. I think it does take that as well as any game you will find out there. And all around, I've actually met several of the people from Slugfest, and they're just lovely people. So I am a really big fan of the company and everything they have going on. So take that for what you will. Now, that said, I'm also a big fan of dungeon crawls, and that's kind of what I want to dive in here and talk about today. With the caveat that I've not seen a physical prototype. They were kind enough to run me through a demo almost a year ago, and I've actually been sitting on the article since then. And then recently I've gotten access to the TTS module again, so I've gotten to play a few more times to update my thoughts that you've seen posted in the article as well. I'm not going to go too much into how the game is played, other than I will just say it's a dungeon crawl, and you're going to get to pick from 6 of the different Red Dragon Inn characters, and you'll go through various different scenarios that chain together to form a larger story that you're working through. And as you're going through, each character has their own set of different abilities that they start with. Yes, you'll be leveling up, you'll be improving things, getting better gear, all that classic dungeon crawler stuff. And the main mechanic is you'll be rolling various different dice depending on your abilities and what ability you're using, and a little bit of positioning. Like you can push people around the board. You can, my favorite idea is being able to take somebody on this god and just kind of throw them into the fire and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it's not a ton of tactical positioning type combat that you're doing on the board. There is some of it, but we're not talking super heavy. But the core thing to me that stands out as different from most of the dungeon crawls that I play is, one, a lot of the abilities have a cooldown on them, so you will be able to use your really cool abilities kind of over and over throughout the mission that you're playing, which is not overly different than a lot of dungeon crawls, but a lot of them have things that either you can use it all the time or use it once. And so this one kind of falls in between a lot of the times. But the big thing that stands out to me about the core gameplay that you need to understand is they have something called the momentum dice, which is, as you're playing through, you're going to be sometimes adding dice to your momentum pool. Those dice are just kind of sitting there that are waiting to be used. And at other times, you'll have the opportunity to kind of add to the momentum. You get to start to take those dice that are in the pool over there and kind of add them to your roll. So even though you're always going to be doing a little bit of damage, even on the worst roll you possibly have, sometimes you're going to be grabbing from this pool of other dice and kind of throwing those in there as well for kind of big hits or big important moments. But really, that's kind of the core difference between a lot of the other dungeon crawls and the mechanics of this dungeon crawl. If you're a big fan of dungeon crawls like I am, then pretty much everything else that you're going to see will feel familiar. Now, with that super fast overview, and not an extremely helpful overview I'll add, other than kind of what the things that kind of pop out to me as unique are, what do I like about this game? Well, the first thing is I really like the way that they've managed to kind of grab the feeling, at least in the scenarios I've played, grab the feeling of Red Dragon Inn, that kind of lighthearted, fun, silly, goofy, and they've put it right there into this dungeon crawl. It feels fun. It feels tongue-in-cheek. It feels goofy as you're sitting there with Gog, and one of his abilities is, escape Gog, or something like that, and it's just a picture of him reaching out and grabbing a skeleton and pulling it back, and suddenly his attack has a range of 2, which, if you've played Red Dragon Inn, you know is very much the style of the game. It's just starting with these characters and who they are, and then how can we take the core of these characters and then turn that into abilities. And I think they've done that really well in this game. The next thing that I'll say that I really like is I really like those momentum dice. I really like them. I don't know why more games don't do it, but it is really fun to, as you're rolling these dice, sometimes you're adding them to the pool. And that in itself, I like. I'm getting this resource, and how do I get the resource? Just by doing what I was already doing. I didn't have to seek out and go grab it. But it's more fun the fact that when you're waiting and you know something big's coming up, you even have the conversation around the table. Should we go ahead and use some of those dice, or should we wait? Should we hold them? Should we use them? And then when you do use them, it's so satisfying. It's so satisfying adding all these things into the mix. And along with this kind of lightheartedness, I think the weight of the game is perfect. It's not super light. It's not super heavy. To me, this is maybe slightly heavier than a Wander Cult of Barnacle Bay, which if you've seen my top 10 dungeon crawls, I listed as my personal favorite dungeon crawler. And the reason that I like Barnacle Bay so much is it's got a fun story, the characters are fun, the dice play is fun, the items are fun, and in this one, the characters I already know are fun. They're characters that I know and I love, but the dice play is fun. The items are fun. And in this one, even perhaps more so than in the other, the scenarios are fun because some of the scenarios, and again, this is going from the limited stuff that I've seen and the discussion that I got to have with Slugfest a year ago, but all the scenarios are not going to just be a find everything and just kill everything on the board, which means that scenarios are going to remain fun because you're never doing the same thing over and over again, and that I really like. Now, what are my quibbles with the game? The first one is I already know that I'm going to be in for a lot of money. Even if they send me a copy of the game on this Kickstarter, it doesn't matter because I'm going to wind up buying every single expansion that they ever come out with, and if you know Red Dragon Inn, there are over 50 characters now, so it's going to be a lot of stuff. And so, now, I don't know for sure, but something to keep an eye on is this going to be a game that's going to become a lifestyle kind of game? Which I'm kind of excited about. You can probably hear in my voice. I love the idea. I will play it. I want to play this game right now. But maybe you're not interested in that. Maybe you don't want a game that's going to balloon. So that's the first one, which seems kind of silly because, just don't buy it if you don't want it. Then my second quibble is, what I've already mentioned is something that I like, it's not a super heavy game. We're not talking Madara here. We are not talking Gloomhaven here. It's fairly light. You're just up there, you have a couple different enemies on the board, you know what they are, you know what they're going to do, you have a very clear objective, and there's not a ton of stuff that you're doing with the characters. And maybe that's not what you're looking for. So again, just something to keep in mind. But really, that's it. I really don't have a lot of negative things to say because I really have enjoyed playing this game in the limited amount I've gotten to play it. I don't know how the components will be. I'm hopeful that they'll be fantastic, but I don't know. I'm excited to have the minis of these characters that I love, but I got nothing, really. Because I really have enjoyed it. I'm so excited to play it, and I'm so bummed I'm going to have to wait, 18 months or whatever it is from posting this video to really get it in my hands. And that's just because for me, it combines so many things that I love. It's a dungeon crawler that is the exact weight that I personally love. You're chucking dice, you're doing fun things, you're using abilities, you're knocking bad guys all over the board. That's what I love. And it's not super heavy and strategic, and it's not pretending to be super heavy and strategic, and I love that. That is right up my alley. And then along with that, it's taking one of the games that has brought me the most joy in my gaming career. I've played more games of Red Dragon Inn than probably any other game out there, and it's always fun, it's fast, I like it. So it's taking that, it's bringing it, again, to the table. And so it's hitting all of my buttons. But that's me. And I love the IP. I love these characters. I've said it like 30 times now. I think for you, take a look at the mechanics. See if you like that dice play. See if you like the feeling you're getting from these characters. See if you like that dice play. Because really, if you like the dice play, then you're really probably going to enjoy this. Check out what some of the different things that you can do, the pushing and the pulling and those things, and the different abilities of the characters. See what those are and see if that excites you. Because if it does, if you like the idea of that dice play and you like a lighter dungeon crawler, then you're probably going to love this. If you like Red Dragon Inn not because of the take that nature, but you like it because of the characters and the world, then you're probably really going to like this. So anyhow, I've been waxing poetic about my love for this IP, but I really am excited for this game. And I'm still going on here. I'm still talking. I should have stopped talking like 3 minutes ago as I'm looking at the counter on my monitor here on my camera, but I'm just that excited. Check it out. If you like dungeon crawlers and you like whimsical games, then you're probably going to dig this one. So there you have it, folks. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.